And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Go ahead and say it, Ed. Go Tigers!
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
You like that? You like that?
F it. Jamar's down there somewhere.
The New Orleans Saints select Marcus Davenport.
No!
Splash Brothers. Yeah.
It's playoff. Keep going, Brace.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
What is up, guys? Dirty Boots Sports, and we are back with another episode. This time, it's going to be a solo pod. It's just Clay here. It's 12:35 a.m., and if you didn't know, the Warriors just lost in Game 6 to the Lakers. Devastating end to a up-and-down season, to say the least. And knowing my love for this team and the players on it and just everything, I mean, my life revolves around this team, I guess you could say. I felt the need to get on the mic and just hash out some of my thoughts that I have, given the season, the postseason run, some of the players, their futures on the team. Just, get on here, make myself feel a little bit better tonight, and maybe help me sleep some tonight. It's not going to be as happy of a pod as last year's final pod was. I believe either episode 5 or 6 of this entire Dirty Boots Sports podcast was the championship recap, and that was one of the best moments of this past 2 years for me, is just getting able to hop on a mic and talk about my favorite team. And it's gonna suck doing it tonight, but I think it'll make me feel better in the long haul. If you don't know who I am Clay, and if you're listening to me from Twitter, Claymon Green 318, Clay Thompson 318. This is me. I got a lot of Dub Nation on there. I'm gonna try to send it to y'all, let y'all listen to this. I know I share my thoughts about every freaking second of the game, and I have over the past 3 years. And I'm here to just give my opinion. My opinion don't matter, but I feel like I have a good understanding of this team and the future of it, and I feel like I know what they need to do, and hopefully they listen to me. Maybe they won't, but we'll see. But before we get into this, I do have some things I do want to say. We just reached 10,000 downloads in the Dirty Boots Sports podcast universe, I guess you could say. We've had multiple different podcasts that were branched off under the Dirty Boots Sports name, and 10,000 downloads, man, in about 50 weeks, I believe it was. Our first podcast came out at Memorial Day last year, and it's incredible. It really is. So if this is your first time listening and you're from California or Philadelphia or Texas, I know I got guys that I've talked to for years that are all over the country. One of my guys, I believe, is in India right now. And there's a guy that's in England. Like, Dub Nation's everywhere. Basketball is a universal sport. But yeah, if you're looking for a podcast, check us out. We upload all the time. Not as much. We haven't been doing as much lately. A little bit of a down season, but definitely come August, we'll be in the full swing of things and talking football. Dubs be back, ready to come back for another ring next year. And just pretty much anything you can think of. We have a movie podcast where we do a lot here. So give us a listen if you can. Subscribe, download the pod. You know what to do. And before I get into dub talk, I guess you could say, let me do an ad read. Big Reed BBQ started as a family recipe in 1986. Our mild flavor is right on time, and our spicy is just enough heat. Owner Ken Reed and Director of Marketing Andre Leonard say you can get our sauce at Doug Namona Farm and Feed, Time to Shine Detail, the Salty Brahma, the Quitman Store, and Amazon. So shout out Big Reed BBQ. If you're not from Jonesboro, Louisiana like I am, you probably don't know who that is, but check them out. Great barbecue sauce. Like I said, go on Amazon. Check them out. Ship it to you. Get some good barbecue sauce. You can't beat it. So shout out to Big Reed. And I guess that's it. Let's get into this thing. So yeah, the Golden State Warriors, they're finished. I became a fan of this team in 2012 with Harrison Barnes coming in, I'm a big North Carolina basketball fan. He was one of my favorite players, and I chose the Warriors because that's where he went. And even though he's been gone to the Mavericks, the Kings, elsewhere, the Warriors have stuck with me, and they're going to stick with me my whole life. This core of Clay, Steph, Dre, they've given me memories and happiness that few things in life have given me, and I'll be forever grateful for them, whether this is the end or whenever the end is. This has been just simply incredible. They're the best. They really are. But this year we had something happen that I've never seen as a fan. When the Warriors have made the playoffs under Steve Kerr, they make it to the championship. Simple as that. And we are done now in the second round. Not expected. I honestly felt this team could make it to the championship and win it again. Was that a little bit of bias? It seems so. Just the team simply just ran out of gas, in my opinion. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, both were uncharacteristically poor from three especially the last 4 games of the Lakers series, but really neither of them shot well from three pretty much the entire playoffs. They each had a couple games here and there, but it never felt like the same team, and a lot of that people are going to attribute to being washed, especially with Clay. Not so much with Steph. Steph was still putting up ridiculous numbers. I mean, he had a triple-double one game that we lost. He was putting up 20 and 12, stuff like that. He's Steph Curry. He's still a top 5 player in the freaking world, and he will be that until you see a big sign of decline, and that ain't happening yet. And I think he's still got another 2 or 3 years of absolutely elite play left in him. But with Clay, people are very quick to say he's washed. He's done. He needs to be traded. His contract is one of the worst in the league. I've seen a lot of irrational thoughts on Twitter and on TV, in the media. It's been annoying. It really has. Klay Thompson is someone that you saw go through 2 catastrophic injuries back-to-back years. Torn ACL in the finals while he's having an incredible game. And then goes out and obviously tears his Achilles on draft day 2020 with Wiseman that year. It was an incredible feat just for him to honestly step on a basketball court again. And this year you saw him take a leap and kind of become the Klay Thompson that we knew and love on the offensive side. Not as much on the defensive side. I will admit he has lost a step there. He's not a guy that you can put on a Dennis Schroeder or an Austin Reeves and know that they're going to have a poor game. He relies upon his size a little bit more than he ever did. He doesn't have that lateral quickness. I mean, tonight with the injury to Wiggins, you saw Clay a lot of times switched onto LeBron, trying to control him in the post a little bit. And while Clay is still a solid defender down there, it's LeBron freaking James, and LeBron played probably the best game I've seen him play since maybe the 2018 finals. Like, the dude was absolutely incredible tonight. Controlled the game on the offensive end for the Lakers, and I believe he had 39 and 9 on like 10 of 14 shooting, 8 for 11 from the free throw line, which is not up to LeBron norms. You usually expect more like 60% from him, but the dude shot his free throws well all season. I'm not even going to get into the free throw talk. I'm not here to make excuses about the series from that standpoint. But yeah, I mean, shout out to LeBron James. He's the GOAT in my opinion, and the dude was absolutely incredible tonight. But getting back to Klay Thompson, and I believe it was mid-January or sometime around then. I think it was right around the 1-year anniversary of him coming back. He pretty much convinced the front office and the Warriors that he wanted to play every game, including back-to-backs. And until then, he was resting on the backside of every back-to-back, especially on the road, which I believe was mostly a factor in why our road record this year sucked and was one of the worst in the NBA. I never really fully bought into the fact that the Warriors were just bad on the road. And, people will probably take some victory laps, especially after this Lakers series and where we lost 3 in LA, that, the Warriors just weren't built for the road. But I still don't believe in that. As you saw in Sacramento, we played well enough to win 2 games on the road. So that narrative really isn't something I'm going to buy into. We just played a poor series against the Lakers. But with Klay Thompson, as I said, mid-January, he took the leap, and from then on, I believe he missed 1 game, and it was like right around first week of April or so, right around when Steph got back, and he missed a game for like a knee injury or something. It was just literally 1 game, like game-time decision. No one even knew he wasn't going to play. And besides that, he's been playing 4.5 months of constant basketball. And for a guy that, as I mentioned, was 2 years out of the NBA, 2.5 years out of the NBA, and he's, 33, 34 now? That's a lot. And I think you finally saw the effects of that at the end of this series, and especially tonight, where he didn't have his shot. He didn't have his legs under him. And, we can in the future build a better team around him and around Steph to give those guys ample rest to make sure their bodies hold up in the long haul. And I do think that's going to be a major factor and emphasis that the Warriors have this offseason is getting more depth, because honestly, we had 3, 4, you could honestly say maybe 5 roster spots this year that were almost just a waste. And for a team to win a championship, you can't have that. You really can't. But shout out to Klay Thompson. Led the NBA in threes this year for the regular season. So obviously the game is still there. He stepped up when we needed him most, when Wiggins was out with his personal family matters and Steph was out with injuries. Gary was coming back from injuries. The Warriors had so many injuries this year, and Klay Thompson really, really helped us when we needed him the most. Obviously would have loved to see a Game 6 Klay tonight. We got about as the polar opposite of that as we could have. But hey, we live, we die, and I'll ride with 11 till the freaking end, man. I really will. Moving on, though, let's talk about Steph Curry a bit. Steph Curry, as I think I mentioned earlier, I still fully believe he's one of the best players in the NBA. As you saw with that 50-point masterpiece in Sacramento. This series, I might call it one of the worst he's ever played. I haven't looked at the stats and just sat down and compared, but just from an eye test, from what I have in my mind, and it might just be all recency bias, but he never had a constant impact shooting on the floor. And with him being the greatest shooter to ever play the game, you need more from him. Yes, his assists were probably one of the higher averages he's ever had. But this series, man, with Klay, I believe I saw averaging 10 over the last 5 games, and Jordan Poole averaging 6. You needed Steph Curry to make some of those shots, and I also think his legs just tired out. Playing 7 games in Sacramento, a lot of on ball. Warriors Twitter loves the on ball stuff, swears that Steph just needs to run a pick and roll 45 times a game, and the Warriors will be the best team to ever touch a basketball. But there's a reason why Steph plays off ball so much, and it's to let these legs stay up under him. The man's 35 years old, 34 years old, whatever it is. And yes, he's a freak, and yes, he's in absolutely incredible condition, but whenever you ask him to dribble the ball for, I believe it was a career high amount of times against the Kings, and in this series, I know he had multiple games where he was constantly in pick and rolls in the first half. Whenever you ask that much more from him, especially after how the past month has been, how much he's been relied upon, it's inevitable for him to, I guess, become human. And you also saw the Lakers attack him on the defensive end a little bit more because he was just honestly getting tired out. Lonnie Walker in Game 4, 15 points in that fourth quarter. Most of that was on Steph. Why did the Warriors not adjust? I don't know. But Steph's not a bad defender. It's just sometimes the players make shots, and yeah, I don't know. You're gonna ride with 30 till the wheels fall off, as I mentioned with Clay. I love Steph so much. He's my favorite player of all time. I have no doubt that he's got lots left in the tank. So I never want to hear someone say that he's decreasing or he's regressing or anything like that. The man's incredible. And, we could always take away Game 7 that had never been done in NBA history. I'm leaving here with something. I think that's how the saying is. So, shout out Steph. We'll be back. I know he's already said it's disappointing. It feels weird. But, hey, go hang out with the kids some. Be energized for next year. Hey, they ain't never seen the Warriors on this much rest. I'll say that. Let's talk about Draymond Green. Draymond didn't have the best of series, and it was kind of uncharacteristic from him. With Draymond, you pretty much guarantee 1, maybe 2 techs every series, couple fights or getting up into the faces of each other, maybe a suspension nowadays. It just seems like that just keeps happening. So with Draymond, you expect chaos. You didn't really see that until about Game 5. A lot of narratives around that about the clutch factor with Draymond, him being signed with that, and LeBron being clutch, AD being clutch, so many of those guys. I don't really buy into that stuff, though. The bigger factor, in my opinion, is that the Lakers, I think they shot 160 free throws while the Warriors shot 80. There were free throws constantly throughout every game, and it really just slowed down the pace and made it, in my opinion, just boring basketball. Not even just from the Lakers, but from the Warriors as well. And I really think that's what the bigger factor was. Draymond thrives in fast-paced, chaos type of playoff atmosphere. As you saw in the King series, he wasn't really great in the King series, but he was impactful. And you saw him getting to the head of Sabonis, him and Loon. That was a lot more his pace. In this series, he never really had the chance to do that. He was standing at the free throw line or standing in the low box most of the time instead of trying to get into the head of somebody in a full court pace or something like that. It was just a different ball game. And shout out to the Lakers. They knew what they wanted to do and they accomplished it. They played their brand of basketball. As much as I hate that brand of basketball and I will never want to support a team that plays it, to each their own, I guess. I'm glad my team went down playing the way that we did, honestly. But yeah, with Draymond, a lot of people think that he would be gone. A lot of people want him gone, honestly, it seems. I never want that. As I've mentioned already so many times, 30, 11, and 23, I want that until the day they retire. I don't ever want to see Draymond in freaking black and red in Portland or Clay in purple and gold in LA or them just shipped off to a random bad team in Detroit or Orlando or anything like that. These guys, they've given so much to us, they deserve to finish it out here as long as they want to be here. And they've already said that they want to be here, so we've already seen Draymond say he wants to retire a Warrior. Clay's made that known plenty of times in the past. How it's going to work money-wise for the future, who knows? Shams has already dropped an article saying Draymond will be talking extension with the Warriors. If that means that he signs he opts into the player option, who knows? Maybe it's an opt-out and he kind of tests the market to get a little bit of leverage on us. We'll see. But I really don't want to see that man in another uniform, and I don't think we will. And I think that's what makes me not devastated right now, is that after that King series, going into Game 7, it felt like it was win or everything can change. I do think winning that series showed that we have a little bit of life left in us, and that I think I told one of my guys on Twitter, like, if we would have lost that game 7 or even in 6 or something to the Kings, I think the percent chance that Steph, Clay, and Dre are all back is less than 30. I think after winning that series, it was more than 70% that they were going to all come back, and I think that's still around the same area after this loss to the Lakers in 6, and hopefully he comes back, man. The Warriors are nothing without Draymond. As much as people say Steph is the engine that runs it, yeah, he is. Steph's the best player. There's no denying that, but the Warriors are nothing without Draymond Green, and I wish more people would realize that and realize the value he has to basketball. And it ain't all about points. That man can be the best player on the floor and not score a single point. I've seen it before, and I hope I see it plenty of more times. The rest of the team, though, I'll try not to be as long on. Obviously, those 3 guys mean a lot more to me than everyone else on this team. So, not that I don't love everyone else, but we understand what those 3 mean to this organization and to almost every fan. There are some of these weirdos that hate Dre or hate Clay and want to be Warriors fans, and I don't agree with that. But let's move on, I guess, to Andrew Wiggins, who, as everyone knows, missed, I believe, about 25 games with a family matter, had to do with his dad. I believe all things good there now. He came back in the playoffs. Heroic performance, honestly, to come back the way he did and play the way he did after missing such a long time. And honestly, I mean, just not playing basketball for 2.5 months and then coming out and being maybe the second best Warrior in that King series, that's incredible. The dude's an incredible athlete. I love Wiggins. His contract, he definitely took a pay cut last year. He's really grown into the second best player on the Warriors when he's healthy and when he's fully locked in and got his legs under him and everything like that. This series, he played well. He could have been better early on in the series. He honestly saved the season for us in Game 5. He was incredible. And then in Game 5, he did get hurt, had a rib cartilage fracture, something that I didn't know existed. Kevon Looney dealt with it in 2019 in the finals, and as Loon said, I couldn't shoot. And with Loon, he don't have to shoot. With Wiggins, he needs to. And whenever Wiggins is shooting well, the Warriors are a different team, and he just couldn't get that going tonight. It sucks. I'm not gonna blame the season on that, but it sucks, and I really wish we could have seen him fully healthy tonight, because it really, I mean, from the first play of the game, Lakers win the tip, give the ball to LeBron, he backs down Wiggins, trying to just give any bit of pressure he can into that chest region, just backing him down, playing physical. And Wiggins, the man's a warrior. He fought, he tried as hard as he could, played 28 minutes, only 2 for 8 from the field, 5 fouls. You know how those go, but he tried. I'll always respect him for that. A lot of people would have just sat out and, dealt with it. Especially, I mean, there was a narrative around him that he didn't really care as much after he got the ring, and he was just trying to go out, and he could have came back and wasn't really dealing with a family situation. But all that stuff's BS. Wiggins loves this team. He loves basketball. He's already shown how much respect and, I guess, pride he has for the Warriors organization with how they dealt with that situation. That imagine if Andrew Wiggins missed 25 games for a family matter on the Lakers, with how that fan base has treated. I mean, Kevon Looney, they were sending death threats about his family after last game because he, quote unquote, was physical and wanting to hurt Anthony Davis by having a forearm accidentally hit him in the face. If Wiggins would have done that on the Lakers or any other prominent fan base, I think it would have been really not good. And I'm glad that the Warriors had some respect for him and dealt with it internally. And Wiggins will be back next year. I have very little doubt that he'll be moved off anywhere. I love Wiggins. He's grown on me more than I ever anticipated. And, yeah, bring him back. Run it back next year. Next player, I guess I'll go Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole, man. Where do I even start? Averaged 20 a game in the season, 4.5 assists, 43% field goal percentage. Not good there. Was down from last year where shot 45, only 33% from 3, down from 36. It was a down year, but he played 82 games. He was in a situation where you didn't know what his role was going to be after a week. Like, it might be Christmas, and he's doing one thing for the team. Come January 10th, he's doing a completely different role for the team. You got to respect him. It felt like his role and piece on the team was ever-changing, but he never complained, even after the Draymond incident at the beginning of the year that I believe got overblown a little bit into why the Warriors failed in the end. The man, he loves the team. I really feel that. I don't think there's as much internal distress as people make it seem. Draymond, I know, has came out on his podcast and said even when Poole isn't getting his shots going in this playoff run, he's there constantly encouraging the team, saying, keep pushing, pointing out things to attack. He's learning the game. He's got the vets around him to do it. I mean, when you're surrounded by Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, Steve Kerr, those guys, Ron Adams, Kenny Atkinson, when you're around them for long enough, Kevon Looney even, you learn how to become a good human as well as becoming a good basketball player and a smart basketball player. And Poole's going to get a lot of hate for this playoff run. Some of it is deserved. I mean, he did not play well, but he still had some highlights where you could see what makes him special and what makes him a $25-30 million player a year. And that'll be kicking in next year. Will it be in a Warriors jersey? Who knows? That's honestly the biggest question mark because of the new CBA rules, which put a lot of pressure into teams, in my opinion, succeeding to build a team the right way. The league no longer wants you to draft. They want you to draft. If you draft too good, you're going to lose players. And that is just a stupid way to run a sports league, in my opinion. So screw the NBA for that. If Poole's gone because of it, I wish him the best. He's forever a Warrior. He's forever a champion. The things he did for us last year can't go without. I mean, if you mention the Warriors championship from last year, it's not done without Jordan Poole, and I'm not saying that lightly. Like he was very important for us. Even in the first series against Denver, I believe he averaged about 22 as a starter because Steph was coming off a knee sprain or something like that. Jordan Poole's special. Not a lot of people realize it. A lot of people just live in the now, I guess you could say, and go with what they just see in the moment. And something I don't think is being talked about enough is the fact that he's hurt. And I believe Klay said after Game 2 of the Kings series that Poole's playing on half a foot. And I think that was after the 4-point game in Game 2 against the Kings where we lost. And, yeah, he said JP's out there on half a foot, and I don't think I've heard that mentioned on ESPN or anything that has been just constantly clowning the man since then. He's, 23 years old, fighting through a foot injury that is hurting his explosiveness. And if you've watched enough Jordan Poole, you know he's at his best when he's attacking the rim. He's got the perception that he's just this guy that takes step-back threes like Steph. Yeah, he does that. Yeah, he takes stupid heat checks. Yeah, he will pull from 40 feet, and you'll go, why? Just like you do with Steph. But when Jordan Poole's at his best, it's when he's attacking the rim and when he's facilitating and he's under control. And you really didn't get a lot of that from JP these playoffs, and I think that is in large part to not having that explosiveness off that foot to drive in on Sabonis and Anthony Davis and guys like that. And, yeah, I hope he's back next year, though. I have a lot of belief in him. He's going to turn it around. He'll be that guy for us that we need. How his role progresses in the future, if he does stick around, I don't know. I'd like to see Steph and Clay get 20-ish games off of rest, not at the same time throughout the year. If you do that and, stagger them, give Jordan Poole all the starts at either the point guard or the shooting guard alongside Steph or Clay, whichever one is not out. You give JP roughly 40, 35 starts a season, given that he is healthy. I think that's a good way to, I guess, keep everybody happy while also keeping everybody healthy. You also did see him play 82 games for us this year. That was very big, even with all the nagging injuries. And, through it all, he was there for us, even if he was playing 10 minutes and scoring 0 points. He was there for us to the end. Didn't play awful today. He actually was kind of under control a little bit to start it off, but fouls got into trouble with him. That'll always be a factor as long as he's around. What can he do to improve that? I don't know, but the man, he works hard. I have no doubt that he'll continue to get better as a basketball player, and yeah, hopefully it's for a long time in the Bay. I really do. But that's pretty much it from the, I guess, player-by-player situations. Those are the guys that you really need to talk about. Kevon Looney, everything's been said about him. The dude's a warrior. He's taking pay cuts to be here. You know what you're going to get from him. He's going to give you every ounce of energy he has, whether he's playing on bad back, bad knees. He's got the body of a 40-year-old, and I believe he's about 26. I love Loon, Iron Man Loon, back-to-back years without missing a game. Even when I believe he came down with a sickness this postseason, still didn't miss a game, still gave us solid minutes. Shout out Loon, always will. Underrated, absolutely dominated Sabonis, and that'll be something that I'll always remember. That's third-team NBA Sabonis, who, as I believe Matt George from Sacramento said, had no chance of being slowed down by Looney. He was far and away the better player, and Looney is the only way Looney had a shot against him was by getting Sabonis in foul trouble. Yeah, we saw how that went. So, screw you, Looney. Not screw you, Looney. Screw you, Sabonis. Screw you, Matt George. Loon man, he's the best. Moving on, Gary Payton came in. Didn't play as much in this Lakers series. I really don't know why. I feel like there's still some injury problems with him from the core injury, I believe it was, that he had in Portland that wasn't handled properly. I think there is some of that in there, and that's why he didn't really play. Like tonight, he only played 10 minutes while he was a starter and was never really bad. He got into some early foul trouble, but he's still an incredible defender and a great energy guy when he is out there. He had 2 offensive rebounds in his short stint, 4 points. You know what you're getting from Gary. I think that him coming back and us trading something like Wiseman and those second round picks, 5 of them, for Gary will pretty much solidify him as a roster spot next year. Even with his contract, which I believe it's about $9 million a year. It's nothing crazy. I think we can make that happen. Going into next year, I really feel good about having Steph, Clay, Dre, Wiggins, Loon, Payton. After that, it's question marks. I think Poole's back. I think guys that we'll talk about in a minute, Kuminga, Moody, I think they're back. Who knows, though? A lot can change. Next, I guess we can talk about Moody. Moody is a guy that played a lot of G League time this year because Anthony Lamb, or as my guy Nikhil on Twitter would say, redacted. Yeah, Anthony Lamb had some off-court issues in Vermont, to say the least, and allegations against him. Screw Anthony Lamb. I believe he tweeted after the game, "This is just a sign that Anthony Lamb does not deserve a ring." So he has cursed the Warriors. He'll be gone. But Moses Moody, he stepped up, always ready. My brother would watch the games, and every time Moody would hit one of those threes in LeBron's eye or somebody's face, he would just say he hits one of those every game. He hits a big, timely shot, whether it's when we're up 3 and we need to extend the lead, or if we're down 10 and we need to cut it down to something that's a little more doable. Moody's always there for us, plays solid defense. I felt like he did get kind of figured out towards the end of the series against the Lakers, but for a guy that I felt needed to be traded at the deadline to go somewhere else and get a chance, I think he's back next year, and I feel really good about that. He's a warrior. He really is. You can't say that about a lot of guys in the league, but there are certain guys where you watch them play, you see the intangibles, the toughness, the defensive versatility that just jumps off the page whenever you watch them. Moody's one of those guys, and he feels like a good bench guy for the Warriors. I hope that he gets his opportunities next year. If not, best of luck to him wherever else he goes. He's a guy that's very similar to another player that's on the roster that I do believe is on the way out, Dante DiVincenzo. Dante, whenever you watch him, he's just got that small, tough frame where he's going to give you solid defense and toughness, hustle, intangibles yet again, championship pedigree. Played a great game tonight, probably his best of the playoffs when we needed him most. Second leading scorer for the Warriors tonight. Hit timely shots. Honestly, saved the game for us in that first quarter. He, for a game that seemed like it was already over, he made sure that the Warriors and the Dub Nation had a little bit of faith in themselves still and faith in the team. Shout out to Dante. I wish he could come back. He does have a player option that's relatively cheap, but I think we're going to end up cutting a little bit of cost, and I think it's like a $4.5 million player option that whenever the salary, luxury tax, whatever is calculated into that, probably becomes like a $35 million price tag. And why pay that when you can give a younger, moody guy that, and maybe he can even become better than Dante. But shout out to White Dante, very huge for us throughout the year. Stepped up and started a lot of those games where Steph was missing or Clay was missing. He was our starter for the last 20 games of the year probably while Wiggins was out. Really established himself. Felt like he was going to be an incredible 16-game player, but yeah, it just that King series was tough on him, and he never really got his groove going until it was too late. So that's sad to see, but regardless, great season, and we had DiVincenzo. And then my next guy we'll talk about, Jonathan Kuminga. Didn't get nearly enough playoff run as I would have hoped. He had his chances in the King series, but it just felt like he had mental lapses, I guess you could say. He's an elite defender whenever he's balled in and whenever he's on the perimeter, I feel, but whenever you're playing him in that low block area as like a 4, and he gives up these backdoor cuts where you just want to pull your hair out. It's infuriating, and with Steve Kerr, you don't have a long leash, I guess you could say, for that. And yeah, it sucked to see, because even after that rough King series for him, I felt that he was going to be an X factor for us in the Lakers series. I thought that he'd be able to get in the corner almost like Gary Payton did and attack with his freaking 6'8" body. He's an athletic freak, probably one of the best athletes in the NBA. I thought we'd be able to send him on some of those backdoor cuts, let him get some rim pressure at AD. The man's fearless. He'll go and try to poster anybody in his way. I would have loved to have seen if that could have worked, but Steve Kerr and the guys know more than me. They're NBA champions for a reason. It's hard for me to get mad about the decision to not play him when, they're getting paid to do it. Everyone on Twitter they're smarter than the coaches, of course, and the front office. They make all the right decisions, and then it feels like the guys that we're paying to do it, to run our team, make the wrong ones. But yeah, they know more than me. I still have a lot of faith in JK. There was an article already posted that he will sit down with the Warriors, and I guess, discuss his future, where if the Warriors are going to give him a consistent, quote-unquote, major role on the team, what does major entail? It'll still be off the bench because you don't see any of the starting five leaving. And, maybe you can just get him 20 minutes a game. Help out Draymond, give Draymond that same 20-ish games rest that you're giving Steph and Clay. Let JK play a little bit of the four. You do run into the problem of playing JK out there with Draymond and or Loon because of the spacing, but it really felt like he improved on that three-point shot this year. The guy, he tries his hardest. He really does. He works hard in the gym. He's got an incredible story, so he's not gonna go down and just give up in this league. He's in what I can see, he's very positive still. He's always on Twitter and on Instagram or whatever posting, I still believe in my guys even when we're down 3-1. He seems like he's a positive energy, even with reports saying that he was kind of frustrated. But, hey, Steve Kerr said he should be frustrated. I mean, he's a guy that 7th overall pick, was one of the best prospects in the country in his high school time, and now he knows he has this talent, and he showed it for a long stretch during the year, but he just couldn't make that into playoff minutes at a consistent basis this year. I do hope that we find a spot for JK in the future, though, and I know coming into this year, to speak on the fact of his frustration, when Iggy did sign and come back with us, he said something along the lines of, if I have to play, then that means that you and Moody are in trouble, that y'all aren't doing y'all's jobs. Iggy came here with the full intention to sit on the bench and just get paid to be a assistant coach that's on the active roster, I guess you could say. And I think JK did a pretty good job of keeping Iggy off the floor, while Iggy's knee and back also kept him off the floor. But, yeah, he's got a reason to be frustrated, and I'm sure he would tell you himself that it's all his fault and that he can do better. And I wish him best of luck if he's gone. I'll absolutely root for him forever. He's a champion. Him and Moody, they're champions, some of the youngest in NBA history. I love JK. I absolutely believe he can be an all-star in this league, and I think he will. He's an absolute freak. He makes some plays that I haven't seen people make, especially in a Warriors uniform. We haven't had that kind of athleticism from guys. I guess GP and his little weird body can do it sometimes, but it takes me back to, people will hate to hear it, but Harrison Barnes, right whenever he came into the league, who I obviously, as I said, loved, he made some athletic plays and some dunks that you're like, yeah, this guy's special. I think JK can take it to another level than HB did. So I love JK. Wish him the best wherever he's at, and yeah, hopefully he's like the 7th man on this bench. Him and JP leading the back unit. I think that's about it though for the roster. I don't really want to get into the end of the bench guys. Hopefully they're gone. It really feels like we have 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 spots at the end of this bench that could, should, and will be turned over. I don't think you see Anthony Lamb back. I don't think you see J. Michael Green back. Dante, I believe, is gone. Patrick Baldwin Jr. might be gone. He might stay around just because he's cheap and showed a little bit of potential during the year. Ryan Rollins, I don't even know if he exists anymore. He, 2nd-round pick that we signed, broke his foot pretty early. Who else? Lester Quiones. I don't know. He'll probably still be around as a G League guy, two-way guy, something like that. I mean, there's a decent chance that half of this roster is new next year, and that's probably for the best. I'm excited. This has been kind of a ramble. I wasn't as focused as I was last year. Last year I knew what I wanted to say. I was happy. I was happy that we got our 4th ring, and this year's a big disappointment. It really is. I thought we'd run it back. I felt like we would and that we could. I had money on it. Didn't get that money. So, but I got faith. I love this team. Hopefully Bob Myers stays with us. It's going to be an exciting offseason. I'm here for it all. And just keep 30, 11, and 23 in blue and gold, and I'll be here forever. And, even when they're gone, this is my team. I love it. I love this organization. I love this fan base, even when they drive me off of Twitter after every random regular season loss in Detroit. They're infuriating, but it's fun. I love the Warriors so much. I'm ready for next year. Hey, as Steph said about 2 years ago after that play-in loss, they don't want to see us next year. So let's run back that same energy. Let's get number 5 next year. Screw the Lakers. Go Nuggets. Go Philly. Get James Harden a ring. I think that's it, though. Dub Nation, it's been fun. I'm sure y'all will hear more from me this year and this off season. Subscribe to the podcast, as I said earlier, and you'll hear more from me and my love for this team. It ain't going away anytime soon, no matter what happens, no matter the results. Dub Nation, baby, we're out.
This ain't how it's supposed to be. It should be just you and me. I feel